This is Revelations.Unveiled.Detroit, and I'm glad to be coming back with you this evening. And I had to start off this narration with a status update of a series I was doing, which was the Willie Lynch letter, an actual reading of a historical document. And so the first parts, 1 and 2 of that letter, are actually available on the site as we speak. And that was the beginning of the letter, the making of a slave, and second part was the cardinal principles for making a Negro. And I did record the third part of the series of the letter, which was the breaking process of the African woman and the Negro marriage portion. Well, unfortunately, YouTube removed part 3 of that series due to what they said was a violation of the community guidelines and standards, whatever they title that particular reason that they remove videos. So I submitted an appeal, of course, after I went online and typed in the Willie Lynch letter and saw hundreds of submissions of the letter in various forms, written, video documentation, just displaying a letter for you to read. So I was a tad bit confused as to why my particular video was removed. So I, as I said, submitted an appeal, and I just received a determination that they were going to uphold their decision by the guidelines to keep the video removed. And I found that to be particularly interesting, but nevertheless, will not deter the series. So, of course, I will do some necessary verbal augmentations of some of what may be characterized as inflammatory terms or applications and names to people. So the series will continue. The third part is up and coming. Remember, I do love you. This will go forth and go on. This is a personal testimony. So coming up is the continuing part of the Willie Lynch letter. The Willie Lynch letter, part 3. The breaking process of the African woman. Take the female and run a series of tests on her to see if she will submit to your desires willingly. Test her in every way, because she is the most important factor for good economics. If she shows any sign of resistance in submitting completely to your will, do not hesitate to use the bullwhip on her to extract that last bit of resistance out of her. Take care not to kill her, for in doing so, you spoil good economics. When in complete submission, she will train her offsprings in the early years to submit to labor when they become of age. Understanding is the best thing. Therefore, we shall go deeper into this area of the subject matter concerning what we have produced here in this breaking process of the Black Negro woman. We have reversed the relationship in her natural uncivilized state, she would have a strong dependency on the uncivilized black Negro male. And she would have a limited protective tendency toward her independent black Negro male offspring, and would raise male offsprings to be dependent like her. Nature have provided for this type of balance. We reverse nature by burning and pulling a civilized black Negro male apart and bullwhipping the other to the point of death, all in her presence, by the Negro woman being left alone, unprotected, with the black Negro male image destroyed. The ordeal caused her to move from her psychological dependent state to a frozen independent state. In this frozen psychological state of independence, she will raise her black Negro male and female offspring in reversed roles. For fear of her young black Negro male's life, she will psychologically train him to be mentally weak and dependent, but physically strong, because she has become psychologically independent. She will train her female black Negro offspring to be psychologically independent as well. What have you got? You've got the black Negro woman out front and the black Negro man behind her and scared. This is a perfect situation of sound sleep and economics. Before the breaking process, we had to be alertly on guard at all times. Now we can sleep soundly, for out of frozen fear, the black Negro woman stands guard for us. The black Negro man cannot get past her early slave molding process. The black Negro male is a good tool now, ready to be tied to the horse at a tender age. By the time a black Negro boy reaches the age of 16, he is soundly broken in and ready for a long life of sound and efficient work and the reproduction of a unit of a good labor force. Continually through the breaking of uncivilized, savage black Negroes, by throwing the black Negro female savage into a frozen psychological state of independence, by killing off the protective black Negro male image, and by creating a submissive, dependent mind of the black Negro male slave, we have created an orbiting cycle that turns on its own axis forever, unless a phenomena occurs and reshifts the position, the positive image of the male and female Negro slaves. We show what we mean by example. Take the case of the two economic slave Negro units and examine them closely. The Negro marriage. We breed 2 black Negro males with 2 black Negro females. Then we take the black Negro males away from the black Negro females and keep them moving and working. Say 1 black Negro female bears a black Negro female and the other bears a black Negro male. Both Negro females, being without influence of the Negro male image, frozen with an independent psychology, will raise their offspring in reverse positions. The one with the black female Negro offspring will teach her to be like herself, independent and negotiable. We negotiate with her, through her, by her. We negotiate her at will. The one with the black Negro male offspring, she, being frozen with a subconscious fear for his life, will raise him to be mentally dependent and weak, but physically strong. In other words, body over mind. Now, in a few years, when these 2 offsprings become fertile for early reproduction, we will mate and breed them and continue the cycle. That is good, sound, and long-range comprehensive planning. The end of part 3.